you're a home buyer, somebody or a young person looking to buy a home, you need a bit of a reset.
There is a possibility on the other side of this that inflation could actually be quite low.
The real estate industry is being rocked by one of the biggest revolts in its modern history.
Multiple agencies have decided to quit the group that has long set the rules for realtors.
Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, the data is in, and the National Association of Realtors is looking more and more desperate to survive. The Department of Justice is now getting involved in real estate affairs and is trying to ban sellers from having the option to pay the commission for buyers' agents. And that is exactly what we're going to dive into today. And we're going to talk about what exactly the Department of Justice wants to make the solution. A lot of changes going on here, y'all. And I want to remind you that the Department of Justice involvement in the situation is in addition to the cases that are already going on against realtors and the National Association. Is this the end of an evil empire? Because don't forget, you guys, there are more and more cases being filed across the nation. We can see from this article the end of the evil real estate empire. Lawsuit targets artificially inflated fees, like I've been warning you guys about for 2 years. You guys, there's an additional lawsuit filed, a second federal class action copycat lawsuit that has the potential to drastically change the real estate industry has been filed in Nevada. I'm going to tell you guys, this is the end. This is the end of massive brokerages. The National Association of Realtors, they cannot afford to continue to make this fight. In fact, there are reports that are saying that they are out. They have no more insurance, legal insurance, to fight these lawsuits any longer. But again, you guys, I'm more interested in what the Department of Justice plans on doing differently. And don't forget, if you find value in these videos, hit like, hit subscribe, hit notifications. It really helps out the channel. But either way, I hope you guys find value and I hope you guys enjoy. I have a few articles to reference. We're going to start with this Inman article titled DOJ to Judge, Broker Commissions Should Be Decoupled. The Department of Justice said a proposed settlement in the major antitrust lawsuit might itself violate federal law and said buyers should negotiate their broker's commission directly. That's right, you guys. They want to make it to where the sellers don't even have a right to pay for the buyer's agent. They want buyers to negotiate their commission directly. As it stands right now, basically, if you're going to sell someone's house just for the sake of argument and you see it in the DOJ documents, even though commission's negotiable, usually it's 6%. Okay, so usually it costs 6% to sell your house. Now, that listing agent usually splits that in half, right? Half of their commission, even though it's the homeowner's money. Technically, it's the equity from the property, but they split that with the buyer's agent. They want to be done with all of that. Really, really massive change. If that happened, you guys, we would have an exodus overnight of agents. We'd have so many agents leave and we would have so many buyers, they can't afford proper representation. How's a buyer going to afford that? Let's dig in more. This is pretty wild, you guys. The U.S. Department of Justice told the judge in a major commission antitrust lawsuit late Thursday to deny a proposed settlement between the plaintiff and real estate defendants and called for rules that require buyers to negotiate broker commissions on their own. The plaintiffs and defendants, which include Anywhere, RE/MAX, Keller Williams, Home Services of America, had said that proposed changes would eliminate the allegedly anti-competitive rule at the heart of the lawsuit. However, the Department of Justice said this is not accurate. Jessica Lewell wrote in a legal filing known as the amicus brief. Far from curing the rule's defects, the proposed settlement perpetrates the very same competitive concerns that trouble the current rule. So the DOJ is like, y'all just lost a whole bunch of money and the settlement does not change things. They're saying it's not enough. So if you guys thought that just that one lawsuit was bad, the DOJ is like, no. That's just the money part. That's just the money part. We are going to re-regulate your entire industry. That's going on right now, you guys. Real estate, 5 years from now, real estate landscape, as far as the process, as far as the professionals, this is going to be completely different. She wrote that the changes under the proposed settlement would not create competition or reduce commissions, and that it would provide no meaningful benefit to sellers or buyers, except the ones that won the money. I mean, it would benefit them, right? Because they just won a whole bunch of money. Further, she wrote, the proposed changes could themselves violate federal law. It's pretty wild so far. Allowing sellers and listing brokers to set the commission that buyer brokers would receive would still lead buyers' agents to steer clients away from listings with low commissions. And you got, honestly, guys, I'm telling you right now, I've been doing real estate for over 20 years. I've been a CE instructor. I have trained probably 1,000 realtors. They do not want to negotiate their commission. Most of them do not want to do that. And I've heard hundreds of realtors say, if that person's offering a low commission, I'm not even going to send my client to that house. You cannot do that. That happens all the time. And if you're a realtor, have you said that before? Think about it. If you don't have to say it out loud, but if you're a realtor, have you ever seen a property listed, say for a 0.5 point or maybe 1 point commission to the buyer's rep, and you decided not to show your client? Think about what I'm saying. It happens all the time. It's crazy. Instead, buyers should negotiate directly with their buying broker, which could include them paying out of pocket or, and this is the big thing, negotiating with the seller. And we're going to go into more into that. While some buyers might choose to pay their buying brokers out of pockets, and here's the thing now, other buyers might request an offer that the seller pay a specific amount to the buying broker from the proceeds of the home sale. Thus, the current practice could continue where the seller factors the commission into the offer the seller is willing to accept. So in other words, what they're saying is they're saying, sellers, you're not going to negotiate it unless you have an offer. So it's kind of like the same thing, but the buyer will be in charge of negotiating that commission through their purchase contract, through their offer. So for example, hey, I'm going to make an offer on a house. I'm going to make an offer for $200,000, but I will require that you pay 2% to my buyer's rep. What could possibly go wrong with that? I mean, to me, the buyer just found the house. I mean, why would they want to pay? You guys see the issue here? I mean, and then the thing is, guys, agents are absolutely going to freak out because I hear, agents cry about this all the time, but they hate driving people around every single weekend and them not putting in offers on houses. So one of the things that agents do is they require their clients sign something called a buyer's rep agreement. That buyer's rep agreement locks that customer into working with that agent. And I'm going to be honest, I hate it. I hate buyer's rep agreements. As a loan officer of 22 years, we never got anything like that. How can you possibly lock someone in to working with you? I hate buyer's reps. Absolutely hate it. So hopefully they do away with that as well. But thank God the industry is starting to change. Now, I'm not sure yet how I feel about, the buyers being 100% responsible, but thank God they're decoupling the monopoly that these agents had over the market as far as their commissions. It's true. Everything they're saying here is accurate. Let's dig back in. To address the anti-competitive landscape that would still exist if the proposed settlement was approved, she suggested a settlement that prohibits offers of compensation to buyer brokers by listing brokers. So it's saying that the listing brokers can't even offer this to the buyer's brokers. That's crazy, you guys. And I'm going to tell you what I believe in addition to this should happen. There's one thing that's missing so far, and I'll tell you that here at the end. If MLS PIN rules prohibited sellers, so now they're saying they want MLS to prohibit sellers. So the multiple listing, the NAR, the people that just got completely annihilated and crushed, now they want their help. And I don't know this for sure, but it's possible that the government or the Department of Justice takes over MLS. If NAR can't afford to pay these fines, if they have to go out of business, who's going to control MLS? Is it possible that the Department of Justice or the government starts controlling MLS and then they give MLS access to the public? And that's the missing thing, guys. If the public had access to the data, then we would be in better shape. And you guys see me all the time on my live videos. I'm like, you guys, if you have access to MLS, here's how you do a market analysis. It's simple elementary school math. It is not hard to do, but there's a huge but. As a consumer, you need access to MLS because you need to be able to review what's called comps. Comps are comparable sales. So a home that has sold is a comp, and generally you need to be in that subject properties subdivision. But my point is the public needs the information. If they're going to require, if the DOJ is going to require the public to shell out potentially tens of thousands of dollars to get representation, then at least give that same public the ability to do it on their own. Public cannot accurately, in my opinion, most of the public cannot make great offers to purchase houses if they don't know what a great deal is, and they need access to MLS. Do me a favor. Comment below. Do you think that the public should have access to MLS? Or maybe you're an agent and maybe you think, no, they shouldn't have access because I have a license. I spent my time on studying. I paid my fees. Public should not have access to MLS. But regardless, you guys, I want to know how you feel below. So definitely share your thoughts and comment. So the DOJ came out and said, this is what we're trying to do. We are going to try to do this. Okay. I'm telling you guys right now, I've been doing this a long time. That would be, I couldn't even imagine them doing that. I think it would be good, honestly, and I'm going to get some hate from my peers in this industry. But to my peers in this industry, I mean, come on, guys, take a step back from yourself and look at the situation. Look at the quality out there. I mean, you may be a great agent. That's okay. You may be a great agent. But if you're a great agent, then I know that you have dealt numerous times with bad agents, and you should be able to acknowledge the challenges and problems in our industry without getting offended. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go into an article that is going to tell us the response now of the National Association of Realtors. So this came out, the DOJ is like, we're going to cripple you. And now we're going to read the article where the National Association of Realtors responds. NAR breaks silence on DOJ call to decouple commissions. Consumer watchdog CFA hails federal agency's proposal to ban sellers from making compensation offers as a major watershed in promoting more competition in real estate. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, how's that not going to create more competition from agents? I mean, that's really going to, the cream's going to rise to the top. I mean, I don't know how it's going to work, but my gosh, if buyer's agents don't get paid anymore and the listing agents have the easier job, I mean, how's this going to shake down? How's this going to shake down? That's crazy. A week after the U.S. Department of Justice came out in favor of completely prohibiting home sellers from making commission offers to buyers brokers, the National Association of Realtors says that change would hurt consumers. So naturally, the National Association of Realtors is like, you're going to hurt the consumer here, even though they've been hurting the consumer the whole time. So now they want to talk about the consumer. Now they want to talk about the pain that this is causing the consumer. Where were you when we needed you? Where were you when we needed you? I know exactly where you were. You were pushing the fear of missing out and making hundreds of thousands of dollars in commission. That's where you were, NAR, when we needed you. And that's a fact. For decades, listing agents and buyer's agents have shared commissions. What do you do? Shared commissions? Okay, whatever. A system reinforced by NAR, National Association of Realtors. A rule that requires, keep in mind, listing brokers to make blanket unilateral offers of compensation to buyer brokers in order to submit a listing in a realtor affiliated multiple listing service. So there's a requirement, and the public doesn't have access to this. In fact, even if you want to just use the multiple listing service, you have to show you're going to pay the other agent. Now, wonder why they lost the lawsuit, right? You guys starting to see this? And I'm going to tell you guys right now, okay? And listen to what I'm saying very, very carefully. It's way worse. The fraud, the greed, the lack of transparency is way worse when it comes to the process of purchasing a new home. The regulations, or rather the lack thereof, is shocking. There is a massive lack of consumer protection when it comes to purchasing new homes. Don't forget that, guys. The rule is known as the cooperative compensation rule or the participation rule, and it is the subject of every multiple antitrust lawsuit across the country. If they just would not have done that, they probably would not have been in so much trouble. And I'm going to read this last part right here, guys. The DOJ emphasizes that change would not necessarily force buyers to pay commission out of pocket. There's going to be a lot of people that have to do that, or there'll be some people that have to do that. But they're also saying buyers could, in their home purchase offer, request that the seller pay the buyer's broker from the proceeds of the home sale. So they're trying to work it into the purchase contract somehow. Thus, the current practice could continue where the seller factors in the commission into the offer that they're willing to accept. The day after the DOJ's filing, NAR issued a public statement. Now, here's the public statement from the National Association of Realtors. The statement of interest confirms that the DOJ wants to regulate what sellers and their listing agents are allowed to do with their own money and home. So do me a favor, guys, because I get both sides. Okay, so on one hand, you have greed, corruption, and fraud. On the other hand, you have government intervention, government taking more freedoms away, and more government involvement. What's the worst of the two? So far, let me know how you feel. Do you think the government should stay out of this, or do you think they should go after some of this fraud? So NAR continues, prohibiting all offers of compensation will harm consumers, including by making it more costly, more costly than it already is for buyers. Oh my God. Buyers, poor buyers, for home buyers to access capable representation by reducing access to fair housing. Some big, strong words right there, right? But where were they when it mattered? I keep going back to that. There is a great deal at stake for buyers and sellers all across the country. And NAR, the National Association of Realtors, will continue to work in and out of court towards the best possible outcome for property owners in America. Yeah, America. And the professionals who steal from them. I mean, I'm with the slow reading group. It's not steal, it's represent them. I apologize for that. This DOJ opinion virtually guarantees that buyers will eventually be able to negotiate buyer agent commissions that are currently fixed through industry collusion. So if you are, So if you're a realtor, I hope you've been listening to me, because the cheerleading is done. America, and I'm a realtor, I could say this, I feel this out there. America hates realtors. And honestly, and my peers are going to be upset at me from saying this, but I'm just being honest, I can't blame them. I myself, I got to be careful how I say this, but most realtors I cannot stand. They get under my skin. I mean, most realtors. But I really respect the great ones. It's just they're so few and far between. But I'm really interested, whether you're a realtor or a consumer, how do you feel about this? Overall, I think something definitely needs to change. I think it's absolutely wild what they're proposing. I don't know, exactly how that's going to play out. But overall, I think it's great, so long as the public, in addition to what they're saying, they have access to MLS. If the public can start doing their own market analysis, imagine the strength, imagine the empowerment of the public. I think that part would be great. I think that public should get MLS access. Now, other than that, guys, if you're out there investing, and you know what, charge them a fee. How often do people buy houses? Charge the public a $50 fee or something, but give us the ability to have access without having to go through the entire licensing process. And guys, other than that, I hope you guys got some value, insights, and perspective in this video. And if you're out there investing in real estate, you guys already know that I wish you luck and I hope you win.